Boom! Bubs, can you believe it? 2018 has come. Not quite, but it's on its last legs. But
I'm done with it.
I've been done with it since January 1st, Bubs. A lot of good things happened this year. A lot of really bad things happened this year. And I'm not just talking about the world. I'm talking about wrestling. Because that's what we're talking about today. Today on the Collar and Elbow Wrestling Podcast with me, Kenny Oak, my host over there, Chris Harris. And you can see where you can follow all of us on the Twitter machine on the bottom left-hand corner. We're talking about 2018 and the year that it was. And it was a year. I'll go ahead and throw that out there.
It was a year.
I don't think anyone's going to dispute that with me.
Big fact.
But there's a lot to get into. Some good, some not so good. You know, we saw the lowest ratings of all time for Raw, but we saw a lot of really good things happen on SmackDown. We saw the return of Daniel Bryan. So there were some good things that happened this year. We saw the women's division surpass the men's division.
Yes.
In WWE. So a lot of really awesome and cool things happened this year. But, I mean, including AJ Styles almost going coast to coast as WWE champion.
Is a year not long enough to get recognized, though? Was it not good enough?
Oh, no, it was great. I'm just saying he almost went from start of the year to finish as the champion, which I can't remember when that ever happened. If that has ever happened, except for Hogan, maybe the last person.
How long was CM Punk's reign?
Punk's reign it hit the 400-day mark, but it happened. When did it happen?
It was 434 days, and there's 365 days in a year.
Yes, I'm not talking about 365 days straight, a year straight. I'm talking about from January 1st to December 31st, coast to coast.
Math.
I don't know. Math is hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Learning also basic terminology would also be helpful for you, but
sure. Okay.
You know,
we can discuss that.
You can't be a winner all the time, which
I win 9 out of 10. That's a good average.
So anyway, Bubs, before we get all pissy with each other, which I'm so ready to do.
You're in the mood for.
I am. So don't get me started tonight. Let's jump into what a year 2018 was.
Loved it. It was great wrestling. A lot of that happened. As much of the bad shit that we're going to talk about, there was a lot of it. There was also some really good product. Specifically, NXT, the entire year.
Oh, God, yes.
They did nothing wrong. SmackDown, for 80, maybe 90% of the year, was really good stuff.
Yes.
And outside of that, that's the only product that I can say confidently that had a good percentage of quality work throughout the year. Raw did not. Ring of Honor did not.
Okay, I was going to ask, are you just talking about WWE?
No, I'm not. Impact certainly did not.
God, no.
And
Impact on their 5th channel of the year.
They're changing to Pursuit January. That'll be great.
Of this channel.
No one has that hunting channel. And I would say New Japan was maybe 50-50. So,
and that is surprising, Buzz, because we had a lot of big expectations for New Japan and the direction they were going in with their new champion. You know, this was going to be the big Western expansion, but
we talked a lot about those expectations, and it's fair to say that they were completely missed. That flopped, and we need to kind of redo it and start it again. And I'm not saying that Omega can't do it. I'm saying he didn't do it this time.
He didn't.
So
no.
Let's try someone else. We'll flip that card over. We'll see. We'll have him come back around after we bat around for a year or so and see what Jay White can do, and then we'll try him out again. But good stuff, Bubs, and bad.
But can we? I don't know. Who can we compare this reign of Kenny Omega to that kind of Western fans would understand in terms? I'm thinking like a Diesel run in '95, where it just nothing happened and he just did not perform up to standard, or maybe Shawn Michaels in '96.
It's got to be bigger than Diesel because Omega is a well-known guy. I mean, if you're just a Western wrestling fan, you still know who Kenny Omega is. So it's
Well,
certainly not
yeah,
Kevin Nash. But you mentioned the Shawn Michaels one run, 95, right?
'96.
96 is when
Yeah,
it was. So that didn't go great.
it didn't.
And this one was, at least in the fans' perspective, we don't know what New Japan was thinking when they put the title on him. We're just, as fans, thinking, oh my God, here's your chance. Let's throw New Japan into the Western Hemisphere and see what happens. And that might not have been their goal. We
And we
just said
also
that
don't
that's
really
something,
know what their thought process is right now.
right?
I mean, they could be extremely disappointed in it, or they could be, very happy with the results. We just don't know. We're not in the office every day,
Yeah. This
but
could be step one of like a very long term thing for Kenny Omega over there in Japan, although the talks of him not re signing with them is always floating around. So
right.
it's hard to say right now. We don't know a lot of the ins in New Japan, which I'm glad we don't. I'm so glad there aren't as many dirt sheet leaks
Because I'm
as we get in
tired of knowing
WWE.
what's going on in WWE on a
Yeah.
daily basis. I want to just watch the show and enjoy the product for what it is, but it's almost incapable of. That's why I've had to leave a few, pages on Facebook or, delete apps because I'm tired of hearing, oh, this person has heat backstage or, oh, this person isn't going to win. Just
Yeah.
the overall negativity of the kind of internet community when it
Yep.
comes to wrestling. They go ahead and they've already write it off before they even see what happens.
hmm And I think a good example of that is Bubs. You remember Wrestle Kingdom last year? You, myself, and probably 80% of the fan base were 100% on Naito winning that belt, right?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
the limited leakage that we got was like, yeah, they want to do a change over here, let Okada do something else and see what Naito can do with the belt in this situation. And we all bid on that.
And he was
And we're
so
like,
over too,
we're
Bubs.
like,
It,
yeah,
it just felt like the perfect situation.
it sure did. And he was the number one merch seller, and we're like, yep, I'm buying this. But then, sure enough, Rainmaker, right?
Ooh,
So
yeah.
that is great wrestling because
Despacito.
I'm sitting at the house at 4:30 a.m. watching this main event and just waiting for Naito to go over, and I see Okada win. I
Right.
wasn't disappointed because the match was phenomenal, and I'm like, God damn you, New Japan, you got me again. Thank you for that because I loved it. That's what
Well,
I want.
and
I
see, I
want
didn't love
these
the
surprises.
match. I
Okay.
do. I do want kind of surprises like that. We all do. That's
Mhm.
why, me and you were in on the gender experiment.
Yes.
Because it's like this is a big surprise, but let's see how this goes. Let's see if he can take the ball and run with it.
Exactly. Go walk the thing. Let me see what it
Yes,
looks like.
but I didn't think the match lived up to the hype that it was getting. This was supposed to be the next 6-star classic,
It was.
and it wasn't.
It was serviceable and it was main event quality. That's
Right.
about it. Yeah.
Yes. And we were told that the main event of Wrestle Kingdom is going to be each year is going to get a new star added to it. You know,
hmm
this was supposed to be 7 stars, eight stars, whatever Meltzer was going to give it. But I was about to say serviceable, but I mean it was a 4-star, really high level match. But we were told it was supposed to be so much more, so it kind of left a bitter taste in my
hmm
mouth. And when this is just January, this is just the start of the
Yeah.
year, and the I've got a big disappointment already.
Exactly. I mean, the whole event though was pretty good. I
Oh
enjoyed
yeah,
Wrestle Kingdom last
Omega.
year.
I mean, yeah, Omega Jericho was amazing.
Yeah, really good stuff there. I enjoyed the Rumble for WWE. That was great shit to see. So the year started off strong. I always enjoy the Rumble. I'm a very biased person to that, so I'm always going to say, yeah, it was pretty good, even if it's trash. But since then, Bubs, I mean, since January, this is the start of the year, it's been up and down for WWE.
Yes.
We haven't seen a whole lot of anything from Ring of Honor aside from them saying that they're going to work with New Japan and go to
Yeah,
Madison
they've
Square
been
Garden.
very quiet this year. It was kind of a. I mean, you got Jay Lethal
Sure,
as the
I
champ,
like
and
that.
I'm always down for that. Um,
Biggest star there besides
yeah,
Cody.
absolutely. Um, but I mean, you have the Royal Rumble, and then after that you have WrestleMania, which to me, other than having Daniel Bryan return as an active competitor, WrestleMania was garbage this year.
Okay.
Absolute garbage. Like it just wasn't good, and then that's just how I feel about it. The main event was god awful.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns had zero chemistry like they did at WrestleMania 31.
Mm-hmm.
This was nowhere near that level of match. And just from top to bottom, it was just at the end of every match, you were like, oh, God, really?
Were you not impressed with Ronda Rousey?
Yes, absolutely. That was
That was a well choreographed match between the four of them.
that was the biggest highlight, definitely, of that entire card because we weren't expecting Ronda to be as naturally gifted at professional wrestling
Yeah.
as she was, and it made you think, okay, she turned the MMA world upside down. She has the potential to turn the WWE world upside down, and she spent the entire year proving that point. She's more than capable of holding her own in a WWE ring. And she's shown that when she's put under the bright lights, she can perform.
Right. None of us were expecting that match, which was great to see. It was one of those unexpected things. We thought that it would be a put together, intergender tag team match because that's what it was. You're going to see some spots from H and some Kurt Angle stuff, and then Stephanie get her arm ripped off. Right. That's really what we were expecting. We didn't think that Ronda would be so fluid and fucking God gifted and natural in the ring. And they put the match together. Triple H did, I'm sure, and set her up to look really good, and it worked. I loved it.
Well, Bubs, speaking of Kurt Angle, what about the year that he had, Bubs? Not a banner year for the Olympic hero.
Not, and I don't like really the positions he's put so much in anymore. His promos are down now. He doesn't look the best. He's certainly aging, and his knees are just gone.
He can't move. Period.
Yeah.
In the ring. It's
but
ugly.
he's still working the ring because he loves it. So he's out there doing that, but
he happens
not
to
a
be
good
in
year.
the ring. I don't think he's working the ring. He happens to be working while in a ring, but he's definitely not working the ring. And it's because of age. It's because of wear and tear on the body. And I just don't think WWE should be putting him. And I understand the crowd. The crowd pops when his music hits and when he starts, hitting his signature moves, but watching at TLC, watching him try to hit German suplexes, he couldn't get Corbin off the ground at all. Like, it was ugly. And that was just the entire year. Every time he ended up in the ring, it just didn't look good. And I don't want his legacy to be tarnished.
Yeah, that's really what I'm worried about, too.
Thing.
And even with the general manager role at this point that he was holding or he may step back to in some capacity, it's almost unnecessary. He can be an on-screen personality in some way, maybe a manager, something else, because you don't really.
Chad Gable.
Yeah, we don't really need the authority or the managerial type on TV type things anymore. I think we can get past that this year, which is one of my hopefuls for 2019. But Bubs, he's really the only, I guess, I don't want to say part-timer, but older dude that's still working the ring at a semi-consistent basis. Triple H does 2 events a year. The Undertaker does 2 events a year. Now Kurt Angle's stepping in and working, more than a handful.
Looks good doing it and still puts on really good matches.
Right. I'm glad that it's only really Kurt Angle that's doing it. We're not relying on other folks to come back in and use that older generational star power like a lot of people think that WWE needs to do, which sometimes they do because their Raw numbers showed that, but we're not getting much of that anymore.
Yeah, but when it comes to using older talent like Kurt Angle, that seems like something that a middling indie company would do to try and get, hey, let me try and get some eyes on it. So let me get a, Kurt Angle, or probably more realistically like a Terry Funk or a.
Yeah. But, and that shit works though for them. That's good business for an indie.
But it shouldn't be used on a national scale.
Right, and I don't think they're using it to get drawing power. Kurt Angle doesn't draw much anymore. It's just he's out there for like the extra perk, the big pop to lead off a Raw or something like that to get the crowd into it. And that's really the only thing I'm buying him for anymore.
I mean, we don't see that in any other major organization, though. Really,
Right.
I mean, I don't see New Japan trotting out, you know, guys in wheelchairs and walkers to get the pop from the crowd. But I just hate seeing that. I hate seeing someone's legacy get tarnished because WWE needs the cheap pop or needs a couple extra hundred
Yeah.
viewers for their show because they don't, and it's just doing more harm than good.
I don't think they'll let him get to a point where that becomes a serious issue. He's not going to work that much. He certainly shouldn't be put in main event spots or title reigns or anything like that. So I don't think that will really come into play anymore. And it's good to see him every now and then, but they just need to use it appropriately.
All right, so with talking about Kurt Angle, I want to get into, speaking of aging stars. I want to kind of stay on that topic, and we've got, what was it? It wasn't Crown Jewel, I guess it was,
Ah,
with D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction.
sure.
And once again, talking about tarnishing people's legacies and bringing on people for cheap pops and a couple hundred views. Who there's been talk for years about Shawn Michaels, making an in-ring return, but he always said, nope, I'm done. This is it. I said I'm retired. I respect The Undertaker too much to come out of retirement. But the WWE needs the almighty dollar out of their boys down in Saudi Arabia, who's having some issues of their own right now. Sorry for any Saudis that download the podcast.
Are you listening live right now?
Yes. On YouTube, just look up 6 Star Productions, and you can watch us live right now.
There we are.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Saudi Arabia. It's good to see you. But why bring Shawn Michaels out of retirement to put on a below-average match with 4 aging is not the word.
They've been aged,
yes,
Bubs.
well past their prime.
I don't know if you're actually asking me because that's not a match I wanted. I never wanted to see it. It's cool to see him back in the ring.
It. I didn't, but someone had to have.
Well, someone in Saudi Arabia wanted to see it, I think.
Well, they also wanted to see some other things that none of us wanted to see, but
okay, fair. But that match did nothing for me, right? It was awful. No. I didn't like any of it.
Shawn Michaels is my number 1, Bubs.
And yep, so that had to hurt you
at all.
Had to hurt you a bit.
As soon as it was announced, I didn't want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to see him at Raw 25. That's another thing I would like to bring up. Raw 25 was not good, but
I don't know. It wasn't needed, and Crown Jewel as a whole was not a good production. Wasn't good.
We did get the best in the world. Finally settled out of it.
Well, that's true. Of all things, we did get the best in the world. I'm glad that because we can't even debate it now. It's pointless for you and I to say,
100%
here's my number 1.
Stone.
Yeah, Shane O'Mac out here doing some stuff.
And can you argue that point? I mean, the guy's a legend.
Nope. I'm good with it.
I don't see anyone else jumping off Titantrons, and you were there in Dallas when he jumped off the cell, Bubs.
He did. He everyone says he jumped. He took a step and fell. That needs to be properly phrased. But
he tumbled. I think is the better word. He tumbled off.
He let gravity do the work.
That's still a leap, Bubs. That's a
huge
jump. I mean,
huge pop.
Yeah, you were. I know you were. You were in there.
I said don't do it, Shane, but he kept doing it. So
I remember sitting on my couch just yelling at my wife, like, Emily, you want to watch someone die?
Yeah, come watch this.
I was like, get in here, and then he did it. He jumped off.
Yep, he sure fucking did.
So yes, best in the world, Shane McMahon. Crown Jewel as a whole was just I guess this was the year of the Saudi experiment. Is the money worth it? You had the greatest Royal Rumble, and you had the hottest star in all of wrestling, Braun Strowman, win. Your biggest babyface, and then what do? You turn him heel.
He goes heel shortly after. Yeah.
You turn him heel to try and get Roman Reigns over as a babyface.
Yep. Swing and a miss for strike 13 on that one.
Yeah, Roman Reigns. There were a lot of misses in 2018.
That all
Um,
gets reset when he comes back.
it
I am
does.
forgetting
It
about
does,
all of the past.
but we have to talk about it because we're talking about the year of 2018, and
Sure.
he main evented what
Everything.
his fourth straight WrestleMania or
All of
something
them.
like that, and that didn't go well. One of the It wasn't a good match, Bubs. Would you like to argue that point?
I can't. I
Okay.
won't argue it,
You
Bubs. I
keep making
mean,
that face like you're about to argue
no,
when I
I
say
was
that
just.
that match was bad. Every time I say that, you go, your eyes get bigger, like you're about to say something. But
Well, no. If we were talking about WrestleMania, still the only you said that was really the only match that you enjoyed earlier was Ronda, Kurt, Triple H, and Stephanie, and we failed to mention Charlotte and Asuka. That match was certainly a competitor for the best on that card,
that's the
and
thing is that the card wasn't that good. So I,
the match was. I'm not trying to compare it to the
the
garbage
match
that
was
was on there.
good. A lot of us can complain about Charlotte winning. It
Nope.
it makes I mean
She tapped
Charlotte,
her out too. Loved it.
yeah, clean right in the middle of the ring.
Yep.
You're destroying the aura of what could be your biggest commodity in the women's division. You didn't
Yep.
need to make Charlotte. Charlotte was already made. Charlotte made herself, you know. Um, but you could have used Asuka a year from then to make somebody else. You could have used Asuka to really make Ronda. Because we all thought, we said this, WrestleMania 2019, that was going to be Ronda and Asuka, and who was going to be the first woman to lose. Because we thought they were both
Oh
going to
yeah,
be undefeated going
that was a
into.
while ago. Yeah, I remember that. That was well before WrestleMania. We thought Asuka
Yeah.
was going to keep on rolling, but now we're sitting at the end of the year and Asuka is champion again, and she's
Yes.
now back to that badass I can kick anyone's ass type
Yes,
mentality.
but
The aura's gone, but she's still number
yes, but
1 or
with
1A
the
on
aura
SmackDown.
gone, like, can you really believe, like, oh wow, Asuka's this unstoppable force? Well, she is now. She wasn't about 2 months ago.
Well, no, they humanized her, but now she's still the best woman on that brand now with the title.
No, Becky Lynch is the
So
best woman on the title. I
she's
mean,
the best
on the
man.
brand. She's just the best.
Let me,
Period.
let me just correct you, but
She is the best.
they've
Period.
let Asuka flounder a bit. Now they've brought her back up, and you're never going to get that undefeated streak type of not heat, but attention again. But the more they legitimize her with big wins, and if she beats Becky at the Royal Rumble, like everyone is saying that she will, to carry the belt into the WrestleMania, I mean, I'm believing again.
Well, it's hard for her to beat Becky when Becky's going to be winning the Royal Rumble match itself, Bubs. And
Well, the match is already scheduled. The rematch is already set.
But Becky's
So
going to win the Rumble and beat
I said
and
yes.
wrestle with Ronda at WrestleMania.
I said that on a tweet
it has
immediately
to
after that.
happen.
I said Ronda's going to hold her title through the Rumble. I said Asuka's losing her title to Becky. Becky will become SmackDown Women's Champion again at the Rumble. Then she's going to enter the match and win the Rumble with her title, and then go to Raw with her title.
Terrible.
That's what I want.
Terrible booking.
That's good booking. Write it down. The man.
You're going to have
He's
the
had a great year,
undisputed
by the way.
champion.
There we go.
The first undisputed women's champion in history. And
Tell me it would be good. And to main event WrestleMania, it's got to be something like that, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
Oh,
at
I
all.
think
It could easily just be Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble because she's a badass last kicker, and then going and facing the most badass woman on the planet.
Okay, the storyline better build to that because it is not
It doesn't
supporting a
even
main
have
event.
to. I'm
right now.
already wanting that as my main event of WrestleMania.
Yes.
What else could top that match? Period. Just how hot Becky Lynch is.
Okay.
How
So you're-
good Ronda Rousey has been.
Okay.
I don't need anything else.
You're dead set on it not being Charlotte.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So who's Charlotte working? WrestleMania.
Asuka.
No.
Again, and Asuka gets her win back.
No.
Yes.
It's not in the cards. Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about that.
That makes the most sense.
That makes zero sense.
Oh my god. See,
Yeah.
you look at things at such a retarded angle sometimes.
That's okay. Well said, right there.
Yes.
That's just some mental stuff.
That is the best that I could come up with because
Bubs,
you
we're
frustrate me with the way
still
that
talk-
you We're still talking about what?
We're still talking good stuff at 2018. Was Becky
I
Lynch
haven't
good
talked
throughout
one
the whole
good thing
year?
about 2018 yet.
We're
We've
talking
only.
Becky.
Well, yes.
No,
Becky
I've seen
is
during this time, the end of the year, a lot of folks are doing their end of the year type awards and things
so
like that.
cliche. Those people are
Everyone,
dumb.
every week. You're lucky we're not doing that show right now, huh?
Yeah, well, fuck us if
Okay.
we are, but we're
Yeah.
not, so fuck everyone
But
else.
everyone is saying that Becky Lynch is the best women's wrestler of the year. Is that true? Because she hasn't been hot the whole year. It's only
No,
been lately, hasn't it?
I agree with that statement.
Okay.
I wouldn't put Becky Lynch as my if we were doing an award show
Right.
and doing the best female wrestler of the year, it
Tessa
wouldn't
Blanchard.
be Becky Lynch.
Okay.
It I'd put Kairi Sane over Becky Lynch.
Okay.
If
So
we're
would I.
yeah,
I'd put
because
Charlotte over her. I would put Tessa Blanchard, like I said, over her.
yes,
Maybe Rousey, because Rousey's had a bigger year.
I think Rousey
So,
has a strong case, and
yep.
I think she's in a lot of people's.
And I'm bringing this up because when something new and something's hot, we're all about it. She's the
Yes.
best wrestler of the year, even though it's only been a few months
No.
that she's been working this. So how long is this Becky Lynch thing going to last, like the way it is right now, where she's the best thing in wrestling, or is it going to fade out really quickly once we get tired of it because it becomes a shtick?
Did people get tired? I know the face you're gonna make when I say
All right,
this.
hit me with it.
You're even leaning forward. You know
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
coming.
I'm ready.
Did people get tired of the Stone Cold shtick? Of just being this badass dude that just doesn't care about anything else, and he's just gonna go and beat people up.
People got bored of it and interested in other things more than him.
Win.
In 2002,
Yeah,
when he was
after
done
he
wrestling.
left. Yeah,
When he was
done.
still
As
no,
soon as that
when he was
glass
a
breaks,
daily
Bubs,
thing. He was a daily thing as the Raw GM or Marshal or Sheriff,
it was
whatever he
great.
was doing.
I loved it.
It was still good stuff. I'm saying that people were more interested in bigger and better things at
No,
that
Buzz,
point.
as soon as that glass breaks, he's gonna get the biggest pop no matter what.
Well, I hate that you're trying to compare Austin to Becky Lynch.
I'm
So
not
if that's the
comparing.
angle
You
you're trying to
asked
do,
me.
you need to talk
You
more.
asked me.
Okay.
You
And
asked me
but that's your response?
if people will get tired of it, and I brought
Okay.
up
You brought up the one example. Okay. In
the
history, people got tired of The Rock. People got tired of Triple H. People got tired of Hogan.
have
So
they? Because as soon as the music hits, the pops come, Bubs.
are we talking about staying within a character for like a set period of time, or after 15 years and The Rock's music hits again?
Okay,
That's a
we'll
totally
give
different thing.
no matter what, The Rock's gonna come out and get a big pop, whether he's a heel
Okay.
or a face.
So I'm saying by summer of 19, is this same shtick going to be working for Becky, or are we going to be tired of it?
Bubs, things constantly change. You don't have to have the exact same. You can make changes to it. You can
But will
tweak
they?
it. Oh, I don't know yet. We're supposed to get these big changes, these big sweeping changes that are gonna shake the foundation
We can talk about that too.
of WWE. So they very well could.
Okay, we got Tyler Breeze on Monday. That was really the only thing that was different.
Look, Bubs, you got mad
Big
when
fan.
I was you got mad when I was negative about these changes that we were supposed to be getting. So
Hmm.
you can't come on this show and try to act like you're upset.
Oh no, I'm not upset.
Oh,
I'm saying
we're getting big change. Oh, we got Tyler Breeze. What a big change.
yeah, for Monday. Monday wasn't a big change.
I know, and I said that.
Did you?
I
Yeah, and
text you. I said Monday was a big disappointment, and you go, "Oh, it's only been one day, Bubs."
Yep, because you wanted like everything changed on Monday. You're like,
say
throw
that.
the book out. Let's rewrite
No.
it.
No,
Ah.
but they're the ones that said there's going to be big changes, and then nothing changed that night. It was
Nothing.
the same
You know what?
formulaic show.
You don't change. Shotgun,
right.
Trey's right, 4 verticals down the field, and here we go.
Bubs,
That's
I
you.
never call that play because I hot route all of my receivers. You know this because we played a lot of Madden.
We're all on streaks, and the fastest guy's catching it. So
No.
that's the answer.
No, that's
Anyway.
not. I will hot route my slot guy to a slant. I'm going to have my X guy maybe run the streak, yes.
Okay,
if
sure.
he's fast.
He
But
is.
I'm having a lot of slants and curl routes, Bubs, and your DBs
Okay.
aren't going to know what's going on.
and neither does my safety because he's blitzing for some reason, and I wish I knew why. So there he
Yes,
is.
but then the ultra athletic linebacker will just knock down the pass as soon as I throw it.
Yes, my
I
man, one-handed
I
swat.
hate Madden and the ultra athletic linebackers. It's the
Bubs, but
worst. Okay.
will they keep Becky this hot this year? Because it's been a while since we've seen a woman wrestler with this kind of following and some stuff
And
going. It's amazing to see. So
Bubs,
how do they keep it going?
I think it's less about what WWE does and more about just the fans finally getting what they wanted. You
Okay, we
know,
got it. Yeah.
because here's the thing. WWE can, they can put any kind of storyline they want together, and whether it works or not's, irrelevant. It's up to the fans, right? But sometimes, and a lot of times, WWE doesn't care what the fans want, aka Roman Reigns. But sometimes, and it's happened a few times, not a lot, the fans will clamor for something, and they're gonna want something more than anything they've ever wanted in wrestling. And sometimes those fans, they get that. WrestleMania 30, the fans got what they wanted. Becky Lynch, the fans have finally gotten what they wanted. And they're not going to let go of that. It's up to the fans to make this last as long as they want. Doesn't
Okay.
matter if Becky Lynch changes it all. It's up to us, the fans, whether we want it to continue or not.
So if she's still doing everything the exact same for another year and you're in the crowd, are you still cheering her the exact same way, or do you want to see evolution of her character, changes?
If it's one of, and you've been in wrestling venues before you. You've been to wrestling matches. A lot of times, the way you react is mimicking the people around you.
Right?
And if the people around you are into it, you're going to be into it. It's a lot more fun that way.
Maybe.
So as long as the fans want it, they will continue to react the same way. Because as soon as they turn their back on Becky, so will the WWE.
Okay. So if the WWE wants to turn her actually heel, the fans can just say no again.
Yes,
Right.
which is what they've just done.
They've done that recently. Now will
Yes,
they do it again? Right.
we'll see.
Okay.
We can get into the Braun talk again.
No, no, we don't need to do that. We brought up to the point where I wanted to get to, and that was the Evolution pay-per-view and the evolution of 2018 for women in general. Big
It's been the year of the women, Bubs.
big wrestling pops everywhere right now,
Yes.
Bubs. A lot of stuff going on. They main evented the Rumble with their Rumble match. We've seen
Becky
evolution.
didn't win. And that was
That's yeah.
kind of
We'll get past that, Bubs. But a lot of good stuff. A lot of talk of this year's WrestleMania having that women's main event. So how do they necessarily keep it going, but will we get an Evolution 2, basically? Is that worth the time?
it won't be Evolution 2. I mean, why does it have to be just a once a year thing? Maybe they'll start getting multiple pay-per-views a year, 2 or 3. Not every month, but 2 or 3 pay-per-views a year. Is that so hard to kind of comprehend?
No. Is it something that we all want to watch?
What did you think of Evolution?
I thought it was certainly watchable.
Oh, that's it, just watchable.
Yes, it was one of their better pay-per-views. Watchable. WWE is watchable TV, Bubs.
It is.
That's it.
God, it is.
I'm sorry. You don't like that word?
There's been some. I've skipped a few this year. It has not been great. But why? We get two. We get at least one, sometimes 2 pay-per-views or network specials a month, Bubs, and a lot of it I don't want to see.
It's not intended for us, I don't think,
So
Bubs.
why
It's,
not? Why not? It's in lieu of those really terrible shows. Have
yeah.
women's only shows.
But I have to ask the question of why do we have to do women's only shows?
Why not? Why are you so against
Because
that?
then I'm not against it. I'm saying if we're going to do women's only shows, then we have to do men's only
No,
shows,
we
right?
do not.
Well, hold on. Let's just
Because
make
the
sure things are.
entire thing is a men's only
It
show.
is it. I don't want to
Yes.
see. I don't want to see another evolution. I want to see the cards all equally stacked now. That's really what I want. I could. We had our evolution one. It was good. That's really it. Unless they can build up really good storylines around the next one to make me care about it again, I wouldn't be. I
Plus
wouldn't care
Becky
for the
Lynch
second one
and
as much.
Charlotte, that was an amazing storyline that led into Evolution.
So now I want to see all those women that work those cards put into better positions on SummerSlam, at the
Okay.
Survivor Series, at the Money in the Bank, which they already are, right? We saw that already.
But
So,
the roster's already too big to try and shove all of that onto one show with the entire roster involved.
right. So I'm
There's
saying
too
if.
many there's too many talented women that need
Mhm.
to get their own time to shine in the spotlight.
And should they not have to earn it to get to the second place on that SummerSlam card?
Well, there's a lot of dudes that wrestle in the WWE roster that haven't earned shit that make it on the card.
Right. So there you go. You're fixing my problem for me. Let's
No,
replace the
I'm not.
shit and let's put in other people's shit and give them chance. Let's keep throwing Alicia Fox out there and say, God, sometime it's got to stick. Come on, Alicia,
I
and give
like
her
Alicia
the
Fox.
and give her the pre-match, pre-card show match in something crazy with her hat on. Give
No,
me that.
I don't. I 100% wholeheartedly disagree with you on this.
Very good.
In fact, not only should there be an Evolution 2, which I don't think it should be called Evolution 2, there should
That'd
be
be awful.
more than one women's only show a year. The talent's too good for there not to be. In fact,
Okay.
what I'm I'm waiting for a women's only show period on the network, like a 205 Live, but with some of the not have a Becky or a Charlotte on there, but have some of the lower card women talent on there.
And that's where they defend the tag team titles. I'm okay with that.
Okay, see,
If it's a if
now
it's
we got something
a
going.
network special,
See,
that's okay. But I don't. Let's not have major pay-per-view network pay-per-views
why
if we
not?
don't need them. Let's have these women earn their spots in this show that you're talking about, and now they're good enough to sit mid card at the Rumble. So
How?
that'd be great
Bubs, why are you shitting all over this?
because it's your idea.
No, you're no, you're the one
Am
who
I
brought
am I
up the
supposed to
whole.
praise it?
You're the one who brought up the whole. They don't need another show.
Right. There's too many WWE products as there is right now. I want less pay-per-views, and you're talking about adding fucking 4 a year.
No, I'm
No.
saying take off some of the others and make them all women ones.
Okay, and you think
I
that
don't
if
need
there's
Beast in the East or
yes,
something like that.
no.
Give me an all women's show.
Okay, on the network. I'm saying that's a good thing. The women's classic was nice.
Well, there's
We
no
can
such
develop
thing
that.
as pay per view anymore, Bubs.
Well, you can still buy it technically, so it is. It still sits
No,
there. But
WWE does not need pay per view anymore. There's no such thing as pay per view. Let's throw that out. Everything's on the network, so you have 2 to 3 shows next year that are all women. 2 to 3 cards. I don't see what the big hang up is.
there's no hang up here,
It
Bubs.
seems like there is because you're making a big stink about it.
Survivor Series was pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah,
Brock
was it?
Lesnar. Yeah. Brock versus Daniel was
Thank
nice
you.
to see,
I
wasn't it?
win.
Yeah. We'll talk about that
It
later time.
was because I did not want to see that match because I didn't want Daniel Bryan to get sent back into retirement.
And he got thrown around like a rag doll,
He
Bubs.
did, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about Brock. When he has an opponent that he likes, that he doesn't mind doing some things with, he can put on a hell of a match, Bubs.
Motivated Brock Lesnar is the best product WWE could possibly have.
Absolutely. Look at what he did with AJ Styles last year, and that was really his only. That's the only time he's been motivated.
That's the only thing you can say was good.
other than his match with Daniel Bryan.
Uh,
Well, he was motivated as hell in 2015. He had an amazing triple threat match with Seth Rollins and John Cena. Then had a hell of a match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
But then he just hasn't had it since.
He's also older now. We really need to acknowledge how old the guy's getting.
He's
And
what, 37 now? Ish?
Brock?
Yeah.
That deserves a Google. We'll have to see that real quick.
Doing
Go
that
ahead and grab
right
your
now.
phone on that one.
Yeah, you just
But
keep
that,
talking.
but I wrote that one down along with basically the Rumble, Wrestle Kingdom 12, Dominion, Evolution, TLC. Those were my main major pay-per-view events that I really enjoyed
God.
this year.
41. Didn't see that.
41, thank you.
Man.
And all of NXT. So
Oh,
I really didn't
NXT
have a
as a
point of.
whole. God, we could just spend an entire. We could have a whole show about NXT year in review.
I know, Bubs, and this
There's too
poses a
much to
question.
get into.
You're a big, constant NXT watcher. You love it.
Yes, I watch it
And
weekly.
what a lot of people are throwing at me on the Twitter bone is that they want the TV product on Wednesdays to be longer. Do you want it to be longer, or should we just leave NXT alone how it is? We're talking about a 2-hour format here, Bubs. Is that
well,
something you want to watch on a
I'm
Wednesday?
not necessarily thinking it should be extended to 2 hours. Maybe throw an extra half hour on there. Hour and a half is a good amount of product, Bubs. I mean, we think about back in the day, Raw was 2 hours, right? Well, not
Right.
really. With commercials, it was more like 90 minutes
Or less, right?
or less. Why not have NXT be 90 minutes?
Well, it can be. And this is something that I wanted to talk about in the 2019 kind of look ahead thing was NXT's been so great for 2 years
Yes.
now, basically. It's just been real hot. So do we just leave it alone, or do we start trying to make tweaks to see if it can be better? Is it worth the risk? What are we doing with NXT? Because it has been the best brand in wrestling.
There are tweaks that can be made, but the danger in that is deciding when enough is enough.
Mm.
There were tweaks to be made to Raw, but was making it 3 hours the tweak that needed to happen? Well, maybe for sponsorship money and advertisement money, maybe. But for the actual product, not really. Well, NXT doesn't really need the sponsorship and advertising money. So you have to look at it like, for the wrestling product itself, what kind of tweaks need to be made?
Mm-hmm.
The storytelling is phenomenal. However, what saves NXT is that the takeovers are so spread out. So you have a lot more time to build to them. So the hour format isn't really much of a detriment. A tweak could be you add a couple more takeover shows. At that point, you need a little extra time to build some of these stories, and that hour format doesn't really work when you have so many big stars. I mean, you can just look at the roster and be like, that guy's a star, that guy's a star, that guy's a star. Gargano, Ciampa, Velveteen, Adam Cole, the entirety of Undisputed Era. I mean, the list goes on. I'm just throwing names out there just to show you the size of or the amount of star power that they have. So if they decide to keep the takeover events as spread out as they are, the way the format is, it's not a big deal. It shouldn't really be changed because you're still having pretty solid matches on NXT TV already. You just had Gargano versus Black in a steel cage match.
Man. Great ending.
Yes. Heel DIY, that could be interesting. Just to
or
show,
is it? I
just
know,
to
right?
show the depth that Gargano, the depths that he has gone to, and he thinks he's just. Oh God, I could just talk about this for so long.
The story's writing itself. I love it.
But yeah, the way that it's formatted now works and doesn't really need any tweaking. I wouldn't be upset if they bumped it an extra half hour, not a whole hour, because that would be too much. I don't think NXT has enough on the roster to fill out a 2-hour show every week. An hour, yes, absolutely, and you can still. An hour and a half, you can start incorporating some of the other people that maybe don't get on, and you want to see how they work. You want to give Kona Reeves some extra time to keep building him up. Then you have that opportunity. But for now, it works.
and what we're getting between the contrast in the NXT brand and the main roster is the main roster will have their pay-per-view. The
Yes.
next night on Raw, we see an advertisement for 3 weeks from now is the next pay-per-view event.
Yes.
And you get that. It's almost every
too
time. It's
condensed.
it's 3 weeks, and hopefully it's 4 is what you really hope for. Like, man, can I go a month? But in NXT, you have 4 events a year at all the major WWE events, the big 4. I mean, that's long-term story
I don't even
building.
think
That's
it's
why
all of the big four, but I think that's only. I don't think there were 4 takeovers this year. Was there?
I'm almost certain that there were. I think they do them for every 4, but anyway, so there's not that many of them, right? So we get long-term storytelling and building.
Yes.
All the matches end up paying off. The shows themselves just pay off. So if we're talking about format changes, it's the main roster needing to
Buzz,
adjust
you're
in some
not-
way to NXT.
You're not overexposing your stars. Also, you don't have to have Ciampa, your champion, on week in week out. You don't have to
No.
have Aleister Black
No.
on week
He
in
skips
week out.
some weeks.
Exactly.
He does a
You don't
video
even have to
package.
have them at all of the house shows. The
Mhm.
house show I went to here in Dallas, there was no Ciampa or Gargano. We got Velveteen Dream and Ricochet,
Okay,
but we didn't get Adam Cole. But we got Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
sure.
You can protect your stars that way. You're not overexposing them like they are on the main roster. You look at
Overexposed
Raw,
and overworked.
Why do you think there's so many goddamn injuries, Bubs?
Yes.
That's such a problem with professional wrestling, and they can get away with it because they're not considered a sport. They're sports entertainment. They're
Yep.
not a sport, so they don't
They're
need
just individual contractors out there making money.
They don't need there's no union, so they don't need an off season. They don't get any time to rest, and if they do ask for time, then they're looked down on. It's like, oh, you're gonna put us out like that?
Yeah.
It's like that's another reason why NXT works so well and why their stars are so big is because we don't see them week in and week out. We don't see Gargano going out there and cutting a 20-minute promo week in and week out. It just because it wouldn't work. We would get tired of the guys like we're tired of the product now on the main roster. Why there needs to be a major overhaul.
Right. And I'm not going to let us sit here and belabor this point because we're going to move on to some more of the negative type stuff since we're kind of transitioning into that, Bubs. 2018 was bad for wrestling in a lot of ways. First off, we lost Roman Reigns for God knows how long.
Yes.
Right?
And
I'm going to name off a couple things, a couple topics because they're all going to connect
seen
real quick.
how bad
How much
that-
he's needed.
Yes.
Yes. So you mentioned it earlier. You mentioned the Raw ratings. Trash. Roman
They've
Reigns
gotten
now
worse
gone.
since Roman has left.
Sure. Has gone. The Universal title scene, garbage.
Get rid of that
And-
title at this point.
And 2018, different from last year. 17, we were all about it. 2018 tag team wrestling on the main event roster, garbage. Not a whole lot. It's a rotation of teams, and
The Bar and the
Do-
Usos
and
on
do we
SmackDown.
care? And
That's
then the new day pop up every now and again, and we see a really good match. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
saying they're not putting on great stuff.
But it's the
I gotta
same,
care
you're
about
right.
it.
It's the
gotta
same
care about
three teams over and over again. On Raw, there is no tag team wrestling.
I don't know. Right now, you can't try to tell me that Bobby Roode and our boy Gable
I love
is
Chad
out there
Gable,
being a dominant tag team. I'm not buying that. Sorry.
No, I'm not at all. You're right. AOP
You
comes
you
up,
book
wins
the AOP
title,
properly.
and nothing happens of it. You got Rockstar Spud out there as their manager.
Taking a piss in his pants. It's just
Yeah.
it's garbage for me. And I love tag team wrestling. You do too. And I need it to be real again. I miss the Bludgeon Brothers. I miss the Revival.
Do
I miss that kind of stuff.
I miss
And
the Good Brothers?
Good Brother. Sure, when they're working good, they can
Yes.
work good, but they haven't been fucking booked forever.
No. So I
They-
can't sit here and say they deserve to be put into the spotlight because we haven't seen them
Ugh.
in months.
Right.
But they're so charismatic. They could be so good. The Revival, what they lack in on-screen charisma,
Charisma
they make up for it in ring tactician.
and storytelling as a heel tag team.
Man, what I lack in English, I make up for in my good looks, right?
That's true. Man, that beard is chiseled, huh? Golly. Anyway, there's some bad stuff going on right now, Bubs, and it's
Yes.
a lot of Raw. Why are Raw's
is.
ratings so garbage? And don't tell me it's 3 hours, because that's part of it. We've talked about that.
That is
What the
part
hell
of
is
it, but
wrong?
That's not the reason.
There's no main title on the Raw roster. Universal title does not exist.
It doesn't at all.
It doesn't exist. I don't buy
The
it. They don't
last
even
match he
talk about
had
the
was
damn
against the
thing.
WWE champion
Yes,
in a
I hate
non-title
it.
match.
It's not a real title. I wish it could be. It could be used in a glorious way, Bubs. Rude, Bobby Roode.
No, no, not Bobby.
But it's not. It's on Brock Lesnar. He makes his money. We see it a couple times a year, and the story repeats itself, right? Rinse and
Yes.
reuse. So
But
I'm
right now
tired of
it's
that.
on Brock Lesnar because WWE was in scramble mode. The Roman Reigns
I
thing
understand.
happens,
Yep.
but
Fair point.
there's so many different ways you can go. You don't have to go back to the well with Brock Lesnar.
Oh, we've had time to think about ways to
Braun
do this.
Strowman was the right choice.
hmm
But here we are
Because
with
because
the with
now
the
on Raw, your biggest title is on your boy Dean Ambrose, Bubs. You like Raw?
ugh,
You like watching
God.
Monday Night Raw?
No, I
Because I
if
don't.
the worst match on TLC Bubs was Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins.
Garbage. And I hate it because Rollins was in it, and Rollins didn't look good.
Rollins had to
Nope.
drag Dean to a terrible match. When are people going to realize that Dean Ambrose is not the in-ring worker that they think he is?
Or even maybe the character.
He's
Because
not. Oh my God.
what? He's just part of the Shield. He's the third member of the Shield,
He
is what
is.
he is.
He's
number
the,
3.
He is.
I don't know, Bubs. He's back though, and that IC title's going to be on him maybe until Mania.
Will it? Because anytime he holds a title, you forget that title exists.
Yes, and
The
hopefully,
Miz is probably just so mad.
oh,
right
he's hating it right now.
So pissed off.
But someone's got to take it off him. It's got to be Drew McIntyre. We got to get
No,
him
because Drew
a mid card
McIntyre
title.
needs to be no.
It won't be.
He
Stop.
needs
Be
he can go
realistic.
straight to the. I am being realistic. He can go straight to the top, Bubs.
He would go straight to the top and do WrestleMania this year if Braun had the Universal title.
Yes.
That's not happening.
And that's how it should be, but that's
Mm-hmm.
not happening.
Right. So in lieu of
But
that,
who is going to wrestle Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania?
Seth Rollins, he's winning the Royal Rumble.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, and that's really the
100%
only
okay with
answer.
that.
You can't. There's no really believable story on anybody challenging Brock on Raw except for Braun.
But is it
They've
believable
tried
for
that.
Seth Rollins to beat Brock? At
Probably
WrestleMania?
not, but
WrestleMania.
it's the only storyline connection. It's the only because they have a past, right? You mentioned the Rumble that they did together in the Triple Threat.
And
Obviously, WrestleMania.
30, whew, the best ending to a WrestleMania.
Yep.
Pops. As
So-
much as I love WrestleMania 30, and it'll always have a place in my heart, WrestleMania 31, Bubs.
I know. I understand.
When that music
right
hit,
now,
yeah, okay,
the
yeah.
the only real believable connection to anybody wrestling Brock is Seth Rollins through the Roman Reigns story and through his previous matches with Brock.
That's
The
not
only
a
other
bad-
person.
Okay, Bubs, I like what you're saying there.
Okay,
You
write
used
that
the
down.
Roman Reigns.
I need
kind
the
of
Roman Reigns
situation
story to be in there.
Imagine the baby face.
I beat him for you, Roman. I pulled everything out. I don't know if he'll curb stomp him because that move's banned for the moment again, but he'll beat him somehow.
So stupid.
And I don't know,
Hit him with
Bubs.
the
'Cause
Kingslayer's knee, Bubs.
maybe
Remember
he'll
when it was
pedigree his
called
ass
that?
again. Actually, he's going to spear him. That's what's going to happen.
Oh,
He's going down to a spear. Oh, Bubs.
what if he hits him with a spear to set up something? Oh God, no, we can't talk about this because
It's too soon. But anyway,
I'm gonna
that's
get
your
too excited, and that's not what's going to
It's
happen
not yet.
because Dolph Ziggler will win the Rumble.
Ah! Book him.
Yes,
He's here to show the world, though.
he
So
is, and then Drew McIntyre comes out and helps him win, so he can beat Dolph Ziggler for the title. It's so
Okay.
terrible. It's so bad, but
so watchable, though.
oh, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
It's like Shawn and Sid all over again.
We're daydreaming over what's happening in the future, Bubs.
I
What
know,
else
we
is
do
going
this.
wrong?
That's what the issue
What-
is.
we talk a lot about great
2018
stuff on
has
this.
given us nothing to fawn
We're
over, so we
sitting
have to try
daydreaming.
to create these amazing ideas that will never come to fruition.
Bubs, is Johnny Impact a good main, I guess, star for Impact Wrestling?
No,
Johnny Lucha, Johnny
Mundo.
Mundo, Johnny Moonsault. because I asked, we rarely talk about Impact, but this year they brought
for a
in Austin
reason.
Aries. They took Austin Aries from WWE when he
That
left
was
that shit.
that didn't do anything,
He took all the belts
which didn't do
around,
anything.
didn't do anything except draw him attention on the twits, and then Johnny beats him, and then here we are.
Yes.
And now they're moving to another product in January. When does Impact just cut it off?
Hopefully in 2016, but
Okay.
that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all.
There's too many good
They
stars
are
on there.
just the little engine that could, but they
They,
just keep
I
trucking
guess.
along, somehow, some way, staying irrelevant. Not even in relevance, just staying
They're not.
alive. I don't understand how they do it.
Who
Um,
funds this?
I don't know anymore because it's not Dixie's parents anymore.
Right. It's not that random shell company or whatever.
No,
Who owns them?
it was something. It was a Panda, like Panda Electric or
Yeah,
something like that.
it was
Some
something
kind
like
of
that.
electric
Some
company.
conglomerate.
It wasn't even a conglomerate. It was just like some like low end energy company.
Uh, we should
But
know that answer. That's bad on us.
no,
But
that's not bad on us.
no, we know better, Bubs.
No, it's
And I brought up
Impact.
and Ring of Honor is the same way. They have connections because they have the Young Bucks on contract. They have Cody on contract, but now those may be going to the side as well because we're getting possibly All Elite Wrestling in 2019. So Ring of Honor just lives through connections to New Japan and what else? They have Jay Lethal and they got some
This
nice,
has not
some
been
young
the
talent.
banner year for Ring of Honor, and
The
I
banner
think
year was decades ago.
you're right. That's why I said it wasn't the banner year for
Good.
Ring of Honor. I think, and we haven't talked about this yet, so I think it's a good time to talk about this.
All right.
So, when All In was announced, it was this huge deal because it was the elite that was kind of running it, hosting it, paying for it, financing it themselves. This was supposed to be the monumental moment for indie wrestling. Okay, now that it's over, I feel like maybe it's done more harm than good to indie
How?
wrestling.
Really?
Yes, because since All In, have you seen any kind of upticks in any kind of has any indie company benefited from All In other than the elite themselves, other than Cody and the Bucks? Even
Well,
people
how?
who
Okay.
even people who wrestled on All In, have any of them benefited from it other than getting the payday and being on a pay per view?
Now, when you say benefited, how do you mean that they would have benefited from it?
By getting that extra exposure, and maybe from where they were then,
Hmm.
they're now have a little bit more star power. But I feel like this is where they started, and this is where they ended up afterwards. There was no change. All In was supposed to be this. Uh, it was supposed to have changed the entire wrestling industry. People were talking about it being the greatest wrestling show of all time.
Yeah.
It's done nothing to change the status quo. Nothing has changed since All In. All In happened, and then that's it.
Right. So
I sometimes forget that it's happened.
I did too because really it didn't mean anything except for the NWA title. That was the one thing that had relevance outside
Okay.
of All In, and even
Then
that
he
doesn't mean
dropped
anything,
it
right?
like a month later.
Sure. So what I think you're trying to say, is that the people that came in on this card, wherever they came in on the card at All In, that didn't translate to their Ring of Honor status, didn't translate to their Impact or their New Japan status or something like that.
Or any kind
Nothing.
of status with any company at all.
I don't think that a lot of people went into this with the expectation of if I perform on this card here in Chicago, I'm going to get a
Yeah,
a
but we
major
were
deal.
okay, but that's what
Or
we were told was going to happen by
ugh,
everybody that
I
was.
didn't buy that.
No, well, no, I didn't buy it, but that's what we were sold.
Hmm.
Even after it happened, we were told that this is the moment where this is the day we'll always remember that the wrestling business changed. This was the
Ugh.
quintessential moment in professional wrestling where the entire world was flipped upside down because of this show. But did anything really happen? And we talked about this as soon as it happened. as soon as the show was over, we said, "Is anything kind of different now?"
Right. I
The
I
answer is
forget
no.
that I forget that All In happened a lot
Exactly.
because until I'm reminded, until I see like AEW and I'm like, oh,
Bubs,
it's
I
All In.
remembered like 10 minutes ago when I was decided I was going to bring it up. That's when I remembered, oh yeah, we should talk
Right.
about that since that's kind of a big deal.
And I
But
wrote that down as something to talk about for 2019 was do we see another All In like version 2 or whatever, are they going to
maybe.
do it again and what the fuck does it actually mean, because we talked about it before All In happened. We're like, what does this mean? We talked about it afterwards. All right, they did it. There
What
was some good
now?
stuff on the card, but what does it have a long-term, connection? Is there anything happening short-term for any of these guys? And right now the answer is definitely not.
Yeah, an emphatic no.
Nothing has changed. Cody Rhodes is still in the same spot at Wrestle Kingdom as he was last year.
Yeah.
So nothing is changing for anybody, including the main guy who headlined. So what are we doing with it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's
Okay.
all I can. That's that's how much of this changed. Nothing at all. They went
Okay.
all in and they got their payday, and that's. I feel like that was it.
And it was good. All the indie fans loved it. I certainly loved part of the card and
I
didn't
thought it
like all of it.
was an okay wrestling show.
Sure. And that was it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Bubs, big transition real quick before we end the show. We got a couple things to talk about.
Oh, you end the show, you son of a bitch. You don't
I will
tell me when
not.
I end my show.
Okay. Your show. You're cute.
I know I
Bubs,
am. I get told that a
two,
lot, actually.
2019. What do you want to see in wrestling?
Uh,
What needs to happen?
man, this is such a double-edged sword answering this question because you don't want to sound like a WWE homer, but you
Okay.
also don't want to sound like some angry internet fan that
Okay.
is negative about everything. But I, they're talking about these sweeping changes that are coming or might be happening, and I don't really want to see like major changes. I don't think major changes are needed. I just think the way the way certain things are done, it's hard to say. I want to see I do want to see newer stars come up and get a chance to kind of shine. I want to
Hmm.
see less formulaic, and I'm just talking strictly WWE, and I've got something for you know New Japan and for kind of the whole indie world, but I want to see superstars kind of get the chains, the shackles kind of taken off of them when it comes to cutting promos. I don't think there's much that can be changed at the ring work. I think the ring works just fine. Yeah, there's a formulaic WWE style, but it works. I have no issues with the actual in ring stuff. I want to see a change in how promos are done and how storylines are built.
Okay.
Those are my changes for WWE.
Okay.
I don't think there needs to. I don't think the product's broken. I just don't think it's good right now. But it's definitely not broken.
Okay. I like that. Mine kind of goes off a little bit with that as well. I don't want to see any authority type figures
No.
anymore, meaning literally anybody from the authority or any of these general manager heel or face
Yeah,
type characters
whole
as
general
on
manager thing
screen.
is dumb.
Yeah, the on screen persona of them being involved,
It's never
not
worked.
so. I don't need it anymore. Nothing against you, Shane or Stephanie. Just leave it alone. Let me see the shit booked and just
I
say
don't
somebody
need a
booked it.
McMahon in every corner.
No,
Again,
that's stuff.
leave WrestleMania 2000 in the past.
Yeah,
I'm done with the
that's
McMahons.
that stuff is gone. And the one thing that I'd like to see is a very unexpected champion. And what I mean is, if the
Not a
Universal
gender
titles,
type champion
not
or
not not no, not someone like that either. Someone that at this point, as we sit here right now today, if he said this dude's going to be champion in the next year, we would both go, "There's no way in hell." It's almost laughable. So similar
Big
to a
E.
gender situation. Now we've bought that before. We've been pushing, but I'm
No.
talking. I'm talking
But it would
somebody.
still be you tell me that would not be shocking, but
But the
like you're
fact
you're sitting here
it's
as if that's something that should be expected.
It
It's like,
shouldn't be
oh,
expected. But
Pubs,
I'm
Biggie, come on,
saying
he's gonna win easy.
I'm saying he's capable of already doing
It's
that.
not gonna
That's
be
which is why
Rusev
we've
though,
wanted to
Bub.
push
So
him. It's not going to
get
be Rusev,
no, get that out of here.
but somebody that we really wouldn't expect to win the major
Like who?
championship on
Like
either
who
Raw
though?
or SmackDown, like literally like a Gable, or not to be so outlandish, but like a short run for a Heath Slater, something
No,
stupid
no,
almost. Exactly. See
that's too
now we're
much.
talking. Now
That's
we're
too
talking. See, there
much.
you go.
Well, now
Right now
you
you're
went
saying
too
that's too
far.
much.
I'm thinking. I was thinking more like a Lashley or
Nope, that's
Sami
expected.
Zayn.
No,
Oh, come on. Why not Sami Zayn?
nobody
Seriously.
that's main evented, nobody that has been doing
He hasn't
relevant
held
shit.
a championship.
Doesn't matter. He's main evented shit, Bubs. He's wrestled AJ
So
Styles. He's been in main. I'm talking somebody way on the bottom of the card that we're like, man, he won it. Craziness.
but
Just
that's
let me
not
have my dream.
believable.
Oh, okay.
It
Would
would
you
get
not pop?
shit on. Okay, well,
Would
Jinder
pop for
Mahal
it?
got shit on. So whoever you're thinking of is going. You clearly have someone in mind.
I just told you Chad Gable, and your
Well,
eyes went
other
up when I
than
said his name.
I know because I would love that, but
Yeah.
then
Okay. So my
I need
point's made.
someone else
So
other
what
than.
do you got for New Japan, Bubs? Anything there?
Yes, I want to see Tanahashi take the title off of Omega.
That's happening. Moving
Yeah,
on.
but I want to see. Man, people are gonna hate this. I want to see Okada back on top. I think
Yes.
I he's I don't there's no words, Bubs.
Nope.
He's just
He's
the
the best in the
best.
world.
He's
He's
the
the best in the world.
best there is, maybe the best there was, and there's a chance he could be the best there ever will be.
Okay.
So give me Okada back on top. I think it's almost been a year. It's been too long. I need
Okay.
and what better way for him to come back on top than by taking it off of Tanahashi?
Bubs, you
The
build my
story's already
storylines for me.
there. I know.
Ah.
That's why we work so well together. As much as
So
I want you to get hit by a train,
yes.
I'm incomplete without you.
So mine just adds on one step to that. All I was going to say about New Japan was that I want their IWGP Heavyweight Championship scene and the feud after Wrestle Kingdom to be the biggest feud going in wrestling, and to me that equals Tanahashi versus Okada. That's what I wanted, and of course, I want Okada all day. So yes, give
One
me that.
one more thing I want. I want Will Ospreay to have his first IWGP Intercontinental Championship reign.
Oof, he can beat Naito clean. I'd like that.
He's so good.
Oof.
I've said this. I've been saying this that once he kind of gets his feet wet a little more, starts getting the
Bulked
psychology
up.
down. Once he fills into his body, and he's done that.
He's a problem.
God, he is. I think he could come to the WWE and have a run, Bubs.
He could. He's an
But
athletic freak, and he's
I
huge.
like where he is now. He's so young still, and have him win the IWGP Intercontinental Championship.
Okay.
That's what I want.
You said you had something for the indie folks as well. Is that Ring of Honor? Is
Yes,
that Impact Indie
it's
World
just kind
related?
of
What?
an overarching kind of thing. I want I want people to stop trying to compare everything to the WWE. I want
Fans?
yes, fans, absolutely. I want these promotions to just be them. Like, let's just enjoy wrestling, regional wrestling, non-major national wrestling. Let's just enjoy it for what it is, which is just people trying to make their way. Everyone's got the same goal. They're all, whether they say it or they dispute it, they all want to make it to the WWE.
Mm.
So let's just enjoy that ride with them. If there's someone that we love and we feel like they should be a bigger star, let's cheer them on. Let's get them to that point. Let's stop trying to compare everything. Stop trying to say, well, this person is clearly above the WWE, so I don't want them to ever go. It's like,
Right.
why? That's their goal. That's what they want. Let's try to get them there. And we get them there by buying their merch, by
Support them.
supporting them. That's the important thing. Let's support our local wrestlers. If we want them to make it, it's up to us to get them there. not sitting around complaining. No, we go out, we buy tickets to the show, we buy their merch, and we show raw data, raw numbers that prove, hey, this person, we can do something with him. And because once that happens, that person starts making a little more money. They start making a living for themselves, and then they can reach their goals that they started in the wrestling business for. People cannot make it to the top without the support of the fans, and fans aren't supporting by just going on a forum or a Facebook page saying, "Oh, this guy's way better than anything WWE has going." It's like, okay, well, do you have anything to prove it? Because look at Roman Reigns' shirt numbers, merchandise sales. That shows
Love
that
it.
he's a big guy. He's the top dog because his fans go out and support him.
Yep.
Let's support our local wrestlers. Let's support our local streamers. Let's support our regional podcast guys. You know, if there's someone that you love and you want to see them get to reach their goals, get to the top, whatever it is, whatever their goals may be, support them. Because there's no way anyone can reach the heights that they want to reach to without the support of the fans. And that's what we do this stuff for. That's why you and me host this podcast.
It's a grind.
It is. We've been doing this for 2 years. We have nothing to show for it. But you know what? We do it because we love wrestling. And we hope that people that listen to it love wrestling and that they love listening to us. And if you do love listening to us, support us. And you can support us by subscribing to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. Subscribe to YouTube. Download the podcast. Stream it on YouTube. Whatever it is, that's how you can support us. We don't need money. You don't need to send money to us. But there are ways to show us your support. And, you know, that's what I want in 2019 is for people, if you love something, go out and support it.
Oh man, it's going to be a big year for us in 2019, Bubs. Collar and elbow.
I don't.
Well, there you go again, being all negative. But we have got great stuff in store, Bubs, just like we hope wrestling does as well. And 2018 was hit and miss for all of us in this podcasting world and wrestling in general. But
yes,
we know what to do to make it better. So let's get there, and fingers crossed for a great year of wrestling.
Let's go ahead and do it. And like I said, the only way we can do it is to just keep grinding and hope that those that love us go out and support us. And you know what? That's what we thought about the 2018 year and what we want in 2019. But we also want to know what you thought about 2018 as a whole and what you want to see out of 2019. Go ahead and shoot us a comment down below here on YouTube, or go find us on Twitter at our Twitter handles right here. We're always on Twitter daily talking to fans. You can see us interacting all the time. We love talking to you guys. So hit us up on these right there. CaE Wrestling, Kenny Oak Sports, Crispy Quick on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook at Collar and Elbow Wrestling. That logo right there is where you can find us. Just look for that logo. That's us. Yeah, just
to your left, right.
Yes.
That one.
Thank you guys, as always, for joining us on this crazy ride that we're on. Where is it going to take us? I don't know. We've been doing this for 2 years, and we've seen some... We've been all over, Bubs. And we argue daily over it.
Yes.
But here we are. We continue to do it because we love it. We love wrestling, and we support wrestling. And this is how we show our support for wrestling. Not only do we buy the T-shirts... You know, you can see my Bootios box up there. We buy the T-shirts, we watch the shows, we pay for the network. It's how you show your support. So go out there, support your favorite wrestlers, support your favorite podcast in whichever way you see fit. But you have to support to make 2019 the biggest year in wrestling to date. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. 2018 is done. We're going to see you in 2019. And hey, let's make wrestling great again. See you guys next time.